you. I would love to see that. Let me switch gears with you. President Trump's HUD secretary, Scott Turner, said every American's bills and housing became more expensive because Biden gave hundreds of billions of dollars of American money to illegals and to covering their housing. Listen to this.
You know, when you have 12 million or more illegals coming across our border that have been unchecked and unvetted, when you come in, that helps, that hurts the housing supply. It makes the cost of housing go up. In certain cities around our country, in particular LA and New York, 100% of the increase in rental demand is because of illegal immigration. And so we've been taking measures at HUD alone to make sure that any HUD funds that go to pertain to housing are for the American people and American people only. The president has taken bold action, as you've seen, in banning institutional investors from buying up single family homes. These homes are meant for American families and not institutions. Also working with Director Pulte over at FHFA to buy $200 billion of mortgage-backed securities to bring down the cost of borrowing. And so as you've seen, there's bold action taking place, not only on the rental side, but also to help people in America to be able to afford to buy a home.
All right. You probably know people that rent, you know people that say, my gosh, my bills have gone up, my bills have become more expensive. I mean, what's happening in Minnesota is happening everywhere, but it happened big time under the Biden administration. Now we're finding that the government, Biden's government, stole our money.
Sure did. They're still stealing it.
The American worker, and then gave it to the non-worker, to the non-citizen. This seems so unfair, and I'm so grateful that HUD and President Trump and they're reversing this. But your thoughts on this massive amount of stolen money given to people that aren't even American?
Right. What your viewers need to understand is that a Democrat heaven is an American hell. I am a huge fan of Scott Turner. I liked how he articulated with so much clarity, because the American people need to hear more of our people in positions of power speak plainly about this and say the reason why you are suffering right now. I purchased my house. I was racing against the clock, and we closed in we bought our house. We moved here in 2022, and it was so difficult to get an offer on a house because we had so many investors and international foreign entities buying up property, to where so many friends and family and loved ones that I know were struggling to find a place to live. If they were trying to move and transfer to another city, it was cost prohibitive. And this was Biden's fault. He took our money and effectively put it in the hands of the illegal immigrant. And now the housing supply and the cost of housing shot up to where you could graduate college and you still have to have 2 and 3 roommates to survive. They're individuals, whole grown adults, single women, some with children that I know are living together. These are unrelated individuals, women in their 30s and 40s with children in tow, that everybody's basically shacking up together because no one can afford to live on their own. And so I was pleased to hear Scott Turner articulate that, because we need to hear, okay, what are you guys doing to make sure that these foreign entities are not buying up property, and what provisions are in place so that Americans have access to the resources that belong to us. A nation must have laws. We must have borders. It is not wrong or xenophobic to do so. And I'm glad that he articulated exactly the way he did.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go to New York for a minute. You've got Mayor Eric Adams, who's forced out. He was a pretty good mayor. He was one of the only Democrats to push back on Biden. And they literally said, we're going to make your life a living hell if you don't shut your mouth right. He tells them, if you keep giving away all of the worker and the taxpayers' money, you're going to have a $12 billion shortfall. Then New York brings in a new mayor that promises hundreds of billions of dollars in free services. And what is he saying now? We're out of money. We have no more money. And this is all Mayor Eric Adams' fault. So he's trying to blame it on him. This is crazy, right? Socialism only works until you run out of someone else's money. New York, LA, a lot of these places, they can't even survive without the federal government, which means our money is going to their bad behavior.
Listen, I'm from New York originally. That's where I was born and raised. And even though I'm not a fan of leftist politics, I could at least agree with you and say that Eric Adams realized as a fellow New Yorker that, wait a minute, these policies are unsustainable and they don't work. And the moment he spoke out, I was like, he's made somebody mad and they are going to make that man pay. So, of course, now Zohran Mamdani, the avowed democratic socialist, basically, he's a communist. He comes in bearing gifts, right? Making all of these promises that, truth be told, it is very easy to get individuals who were educated in the K through 12 system, particularly the New York City public education system. They don't teach economics. So when you grow up in a city like that, where everything's expensive and someone is promising to lighten your load, to make your burden easier to carry, you will buy into that hook, line, and sinker. And exactly what we predicted happened. You've run out of money now. Of course, they're going to play the blame game and say this is Eric Adams' fault. But I mean, the man was just inaugurated. He was just sworn in, and now he can't even deliver on his basic campaign promises, such as the free childcare and the free buses. And I'm curious to know, how's he coming with the government run, the city run grocery stores? Like, where are all of these things, and how was he planning to pay for it? He never outlined his economic plan, because socialists don't have an economic plan. Your money is their plan.
Yeah. Boy, it's interesting. He wants free daycare for the people of New York, and up in Minnesota, they want free money for no daycare.
Right.
They're
You
just
know what? I'll say something about that free daycare. I recently did a show educating my audience on how government subsidized childcare is a trap. It is literally it's slavery by another name. Think about it like this. Let's say your employer is like, well, you know what? Maybe to attract high quality talent, we need to offer an incentive such as childcare. And then the government comes in, it's like, you know what? We'll subsidize that and we'll match you dollar for dollar. What's going to happen is that's going to raise the price of childcare. But what people, working women, working moms who they have this itch, they want to be in the workforce and they kind of want to be a mom too. Here's the trap of slavery. If the government's hand is in it, that means the government is going to have a say in what your children are learning in said government childcare. So that means from the womb, 6 weeks old, they're being indoctrinated with the government's worldview, not the worldview that you might be teaching your children at home, but they effectively want to catechize and indoctrinate your children with their worldview. So you might think this is a trade-off. This is a good thing. I can go to work and my employer is going to pay some of it and the government's going to pick up the slack. But at the end of the day, you are sharing custody of your children with the government, and whoever controls the purse is the one who rules the world. It is a trap. Take it from someone who was in the workforce and who had to work and had to be faced with the thought of putting my children in daycare. I said, no, this is a replacement for the family. And I worked between my mother and my husband until I was able to come home. I said, we can't do childcare. There's no way you're going to send your child somewhere for 10, 12 hours a day, and they're going to come back inoculated with your worldview. No, it's who they're spending the most time with, and it's the state.
Yeah. Ooh.